Tired of fretting over the transfer portal? Yeah, it's fine. Let's talk high school recruiting today. 4 new scholarship offers for the Tar Heels. Let's talk about them.
You are Locked On Tar Heels, your daily podcast on the UNC Tar Heels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, it's Tuesday, May 21st, 2024. Welcome into the Locked On Tar Heels podcast, the only daily North Carolina show out there. I'm your host, Isaac Schade, and you're joining us at the place to get your Tar Heels content every single day. I want to thank you for making us your first listen or watch, and send a special shout out to all of you everydayers out there, as well as all the members of the Locked On Tar Heels Discord community. We are so glad you are here. Coming up on the show today, Carolina has extended, whatever word you want to use, 4 new scholarship offers in the class of 2025. We're going to take a look at those, as well as the entire landscape of who all Carolina has offered in the class of 25, because it's growing, and why I think Hubert Davis is offering the new guys he's offering. Plus, as baseball goes rolling into the postseason, the awards for the ACC's top seed are coming rolling in. So, great stuff, fun show. Let's get into it. 4 new scholarship offers that we learned about on Monday for the class of 2025. We got a whole long summer ahead of us, so we're going to be able to unpack these guys more individually and more in depth and fully. But today, I just want to grant you awareness and say some about who they are, just so you can start to know some of these names. And then I want to get you knowing, or I guess really a reminder of everything that's going on in the class of 25. So I'm going to give you these 4 guys in order of how they are ranked in the composite rankings right now. So let's start. Number 36, Nik Khamenia. I'm one of those where I've looked around to make sure I'm getting his name right. I hope I am. Nick, family, hope we're doing you a solid. Nick is 6'7", 6'8". He is a forward. You will see him listed some places as a small forward, other places as a power forward. He's a name you might not have heard of as much because he doesn't play on like Nike EYBL circuit or Adidas. He actually plays on the Puma circuit. I have Puma shoes. I should know how to say that word. Puma circuit. And so he's just somebody that's probably not been on your radar, also because he's a West Coast kid, and you just don't hear about those as much when we're thinking about the Tar Heels. So let me just give you a quote from 247 Sports' Eric Bossi, who does a great job covering high school recruiting, about Nick. He says, quote, "Nick has emerged as one of the top power forward prospects out west and nationally. He plays a game that's built around skill, toughness, and competitive fire. Offensively, he is a capable jump shooter with range out to the three-point line. He loves to operate in the high post where he can make jumpers, attack off the dribble, or do a nice job of finding cutters with crisp passes." So you can learn a couple things and read between the lines, a couple things there from Nick. Number 1 is not a stretch 4 yet. You heard that right. Like, he's got where was the quote? He is capable out to the three-point line. And so, it's like, all right, so he's not really a shooter yet. But the big thing that I continue to see over and over as I read about him and watch some of his tape and stuff like that is that competitive fire that Bossi mentions, that he is just a guy that wants to win and will do whatever is needed for that. So like where he's at right now, and again, as I said, is the most highly rated of these 4 new scholarship offers that Hubert Davis has extended. So let's go on to the second one. So we go from a forward 6'7", 6'8" guy to the lone center so far in the 25 class. And he's ranked just a couple spots lower than Nik Khamenia, and that is number 39, Malachi Moreno. Moreno, depending on whether you look at talking to him himself or what other people say, he's somewhere between 6'11" to 7'1" in terms of height, a center. He is on the Adidas circuit, plays for Indiana Elite. And, given all of Carolina's struggles in the transfer portal with the front court this offseason, all eyes are on players like Moreno. Let's recruit better front court players. And he currently is the 3rd ranked center in the class. And so it's like, hey, that's good news right there. Sean May, as you would imagine, is the lead recruiter for him. And Adidas was playing in the Dallas area this weekend. You probably saw pictures of like he and Coach Davis sitting courtside for some of these games together there. And so he has taken an official to Iowa. That's the only official visit he's taken, but he's taken lots of unofficials. Reminder, they can take as many as they want now, so it just doesn't really matter, whatever. But Malachi Moreno, just a dude that does a ton, rebounds the heck out of the ball, fills up the box score, gets blocks. Love it. Excited to see how he progresses in Carolina's relationship with him. 3rd of the new scholarship offers is 67th ranked at the composite rankings, Dixon. Apparently, it's an alliterative group here. I know Khamenia wasn't, but Malachi Moreno, Dixon. Dixon is a 6'3", 6'4" guard, plays on the EYBL, the Nike circuit, for Team Takeover, which was EYBL was up in Indianapolis this past weekend. So not only was Hubert Davis down in Texas, but also up in Indy. And so the staff saw him. So far this year in EYBL, man, this dude is absolutely shooting the lights out. He's played 10 games, 16 points a game, 1.8 assists, 1 point rebound. So he's not offering a ton in those other categories, but listen to his shooting numbers. 60.4% from the field, 57.5% from 3. That's 23 of 40, by the way. And then 87.5% from the free throw line, 21 of 24. So, look, Dixon, just scorer, shooter, basket maker. You love that. That's what I'm looking for. Let's get dudes like that. Another of 247's guys, CBS, Adam Finkelstein says, Dixon, quote, showed off his 3-point shooting against Team CP3 this weekend and continues to stand out with his overall combination, I love this line, of basketball IQ and instinctive feel for the game. That tells me he's the kind of player that Hubert Davis is after because A, he can fill it up, and B, he's a high-level player from like an intellectual standpoint. He's going to get it done. He has already taken 2 official visits, actually to 2 other ACC schools, Virginia and Pitt. And when I see Virginia, I'm like, of course, everything about his game screams Virginia to me. So got to keep him out of Charlottesville and away from Tony Bennett. And then the 4th new scholarship offer that's been extended is to Braylon Mullins, who's 92nd in the composite rankings right now, a 6'5" guard, so a guard with more size, from Greenfield, Indiana, plays for Greenfield Central High School. Shout out to my buddy Brad, who lives in Greenfield, Indiana. Interestingly enough, Mullins actually plays with Malachi Moreno on Indiana Elite. And so, hey, always love that idea. Let's get both of these guys who played together already anyway. What I love about Mullins is he is a box score filler. He's played 13 games on the Adidas circuit so far this season, 19.6 points a game. But he adds to that, listen, 5.3 rebounds, 4.2 assists, and 2 steals, not to mention shooting 51% from the floor, 44% from 3, 71% from the free throw line. I always like to see that come up a little bit. But, man, I love that Mullins does all that and has this great positional size, for a shooting guard. It's like, man, those big shooting guards, give me that all day long, man. Just that height seems to win out and be a good thing. And so that's why you see some of those rebounding numbers as well. But 4.2 assists to go with all that, man, I really like that full game. So according to Brandon Jenkins, from 247, he has Mullins says, I haven't watched him as much, so I'm kind of relying on Jenkins here. Says that he's got a very quick release, great shot maker, and does all those things. And so I'm encouraged by Mullins. So those are these 4 guys that, I mean, it was just kind of felt like boom, 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 rapid succession on Monday. We were learning of all of the scholarship offers. So again, 36th overall ranked Nik Khamenia, 39th Malachi Moreno, that's the big guy. Dixon, 67th. He's the 6'3", 6'4" guard. And then 92nd ranked Braylon Mullins. He's the 6'5" shooting guard. So a little bit of everything out there in these scholarship offers. So how do these 4 guys fit into the overall landscape of what Coach Davis and the staff have already extended in terms of scholarship offers in the class of 2025 and what the Tar Heels are looking for. I think Coach Davis offered these specific guys for a certain reason, and we'll talk about why coming up in just a second. Right after I tell you about LinkedIn, when you're hiring for your small business, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you got to check out LinkedIn Jobs, which has the tools to help find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. LinkedIn isn't just some other job board. They help you hire professionals you can't find anywhere else. And even those who might not even be looking for a job, but are open to just that perfect role that you might have to offer. In a given month, over 70% of LinkedIn users don't visit other leading job sites. So if you're not looking on LinkedIn, you're looking in the wrong place. On LinkedIn, over 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. So hire professionals like a professional on LinkedIn. They're constantly finding ways to make your process easier to hire. For example, recently they just launched a feature that helps you write job descriptions, again, making the process even quicker for you. So post your job for free right now at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. Again, that's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Hey, I want to tell you about the Locked On Sports Today 24/7 stream. Maybe you're watching Fox Sports or ESPN on your TV all day and you got to turn down the volume with all the shouting going on. I want to encourage you, make the switch to Locked On Sports Today, a free 24/7 sports streaming channel programmed just for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the screaming. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't miss analysis, opinions, and news, streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app. All of this part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. All right, so we just talked about these 4 new offers: Nik Khamenia, Malachi Moreno, Dixon, and Braylon Mullins. How do they fit into the bigger landscape of whom Coach Davis has already offered? Because you might be aware, but outside of these guys who are ranked 36th and lower, Coach Davis has offered a bunch of scholarships, and they've all been to the elite of the elite. The Tar Heels have now offered 13 total scholarships in the class of 2025. But let me tell you this, of those 9 others outside of the 4 we just talked about, he has offered the entire composite top 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. He's offered 8 of the top 10. And that 9th is number 16. And that's Cayden Boozer, who's the twin brother of number 2 overall, Cameron Boozer. So that makes sense. So Hubert Davis is going for these dudes at an elite level. Now, so you might be saying, all right, Isaac, if he's got offers out to 9 of the top 16 guys, out to 8 of the top 10 guys, and to all of the top 5, why bother with these dudes outside the top 30? And that's a valid and great question. Here's my presumption of why Coach Davis has done this, why he's offered the 4 lowest ranked guys he has in this class. It's not that he doesn't think he's going to get anyone out of that elite class. I think he truly believes, and I think Carolina will get at least 1 or 2. Keep in mind, I always try to say when we have these conversations, this isn't about Carolina getting all of these guys. They're not going to. They don't have the scholarship space, even if they could, which is why I keep trying to remind us in the transfer portal, you're just not going to get everybody. It's just not realistic. You just need 1 or 2 yeses, and 1 or 2 out of these 9 of these top 16 is great and would be incredible. If you get a couple more, sure, you take it. But these other guys, Coach Davis, in my opinion, is wanting to get in on them because they're guys that are rising and, you know, have attention on them, but maybe not always at the Carolina type level. Like you see Kansas in on a couple of them, Kentucky, because some of these guys are from Kentucky, things like that. But outside of that elite tier, Coach Davis is saying, all right, we want to get guys that we can maybe look at development, guys that can come in and will want to be here for more than a year, maybe 2, maybe 3, that can get action, stick around. But also guys who, yeah, they may be in the 30s or 60s or 90s right now, but by the time everything's said and done with their projection and how they're growing, they could be top 20 by the top 25 by the time this is all done. And we want to get in on that. So I think all of that kind of comes into play and is why you're like, I just don't understand why they would even bother with these guys. That to me is why Coach Davis would go in on them. So let me update you. So I said 13 guys. Let's take just a survey of the landscape of these 13 positionally and all that kind of stuff. So in terms of point guards, combo guard kind of guys, there are 3 right now. 5-star Jasper Johnson. He is 6'4"-ish, number 10 in the composite rankings. Actually plays at Link Academy where Elliot Cadeau was, where James Brown is now, just about an hour and a half south of where I live. 5-star guy. He's ranked as high as 8. That's ESPN, and as low as 25. That's at On3. 247 has him 10th. Rivals 13th. So really highly rated. The other 2 point guard, combo guard kind of guys are both 4-stars. One we already mentioned is Cayden Boozer. He's 6'3", 16th in the composite. His highest ranking is 14 at ESPN, 24th at On3. And then the other of those would be Dixon, who we've just started talking about today. As far as shooting guards, there's 3 of them as well, just spreading it out. You love to see it. 2 of these are 5-star guys. Darryn Peterson, who you know Carolina has been in on. Also, Peterson's working on his point guard abilities because he wants to have the ball in his hands. We're actually going to talk more about Peterson maybe this week, maybe next week. But he is number 3 in the composite rankings right now. He's 3 everywhere but On3, where he's the number 4 overall. And then the other 5-star shooting guard is Isiah Harwell. You might see him in other places listed as a small forward. He's really just a big shooting guard, 6'5", number 8 in the composite rankings, and from out west. So there's like, there's been like, hey, it's Carolina or Gonzaga kind of talk that has surfaced some. And so we'll see with that. And then the other shooting guard is Braylon Mullins, the 4-star who we've already talked about today. Small forward, there are 2 guys. One of them, I'll just go ahead and say, because we've already talked about him, is Nik Khamenia. But the other is the dude, the guy that everybody wants, the crown jewel of this class. And no, it is no longer Cayden Boozer, although, heck, come on, man, he would be phenomenal to have. But it's the reclassified AJ Dybantsa, who 5-star, number 1 everywhere, consensus number 1 in this class, 6'8", small forward. He's the dude that you just keep your eyes on. It's like, can we get a visit? That's what you're hoping for right now. Convince him to come be a Tar Heel. In terms of other forwards, but more power forwards, this is where Carolina has filled up the vast majority of their offers. In fact, Nik Khamenia, as I said earlier, has been listed as a power forward in some places. For like power forwards, all of them are 5-stars. Cayden Boozer, before AJ Dybantsa reclassified, this was your dude. 6'9" power forward, was number 1 composite. Now was number 2 composite, number 2 at all 4 of the main recruiting sites. He's phenomenal. Obviously, his dad is Carlos. So can you get him away from Duke? Maybe. It's possible. They've also said, the Twins, that they don't have to go together, Cameron and Cade. So we'll see. The next 5-star power forward is Koa Pead, 6'8", number 5 in the composite. He's 5 everywhere, out of Arizona. A guy that I really like. I would love for the Tar Heels to land. We'll keep tabs on it. Also, 5-star Caleb Wilson, who is 6'9", number 4 in the composite. So just ahead of Koa Pead. He's 3rd at On3, 4th at ESPN and Rivals, and 6th at 247. So big lanky guy. We'll see where Carolina continues to go with his recruitment. And so keep your eyes on that. And then 5-star Bryson Tiller. He's 6'9". He's been playing at Overtime Elite down in Atlanta. Played with the Thompson twins, who were both drafted last year, was on their team. He's number 9 in the composite. So all of these 4 power forwards are all top 9 in the composite rankings. Really good experience there for Tiller that he's had in Atlanta. And then the last of these 13 scholarships is Malachi Moreno, the lone center that Carolina has offered. So, we'll see what happens at that all important position. Not much out there right now. So I just wanted to give you that lay of the land. And tell you why I think Coach Davis just offered the guys he did. And then we'll keep tabs on all of this, because these class of 25 guys, you want to go ahead and maybe nab 1 or 2 of them in this summer here and just get guys to be able to commit and start filling out that 25 class and see what you got coming on the heels of a great 2024 class. So that's where things are at on the basketball court in high school recruiting. Let's turn our attention to baseball. The Diamond Heels continue to be in great shape for postseason standings. New rankings came out on Monday. I want to tell you about that. And the awards are starting to roll in. Tar Heels, I think they're going to be a top 8 host. Just cannot poop the bed this week in the ACC tournament. All that coming up in just a second. Right after I tell you about Yahoo Finance. I love stats and I love numbers so much. You know this because you're a big part of the Locked On Tar Heels family. Like it's what I do and it's what I spend so much time with. But it doesn't just apply to sports. I also really enjoy keeping tabs on how all my investments and how all my money is doing. I used to track all of it by myself in a bunch of different spreadsheets until one day my financial advisor said, Isaac, look, I use Yahoo Finance to do everything you're doing all in one place, one-stop shopping. Why aren't you doing this? So I checked it out. I tried it. Never turned back. I absolutely love it. Yahoo Finance, let me tell you more about it. For more than 25 years, they have been the brand behind every great investor. Whether you're a seasoned investor or you're looking for that extra guidance, Yahoo Finance gives you all the tools and all the data you need in one place. You can securely link your brokerage accounts for a unified view of your wealth, including your 401k, but also other investments. A comprehensive perspective is really what sets apart great investors. And that's how Yahoo Finance ensures you have the insight to look at your wealth in its entirety. With the community of over 90 million users each month, the real strength is helping you on your way to financial success. For comprehensive financial news and analysis, visit the brand behind every great investor, yahoofinance.com, the #1 financial destination, yahoofinance.com. Again, one more time, yahoofinance.com. You know, because we talked about it yesterday, baseball is coming off a great weekend, winning a series at Duke to wrap up the regular season, including a 9-run win on Saturday. So new rankings come out, and as you expect, the Tar Heels are even in better place than they already were. Of the 5 main rankings groups, the Tar Heels have moved all the way up to 3rd at both Baseball America and Perfect Game. They're 6th at the NCBWA and USA Today Sports and sitting at 7th at D1 Baseball. But as you start looking, like the rankings are great and fine and whatever, but really what starts to matter now is, you know, how we pay so much attention to bracketology with college basketball. It's the same thing for college baseball. Where are the Tar Heels going to land? This is important because there are 16 regional hosts. You want to be one of those 16 regional hosts, but more importantly, you want to be one of the top 8 national seeds, because that means if you win your region, you're guaranteed to host a super regional the next weekend. So that's what Carolina is looking for. Well, D1 baseball, despite having Carolina ranked 7th, put out their most recent field of 64. They don't do 4 extra teams like college basketball. And right now, they have the Tar Heels projected as the #4 overall seed in that top 8. So basically what that means, because there's so many ACC teams in contention for one of these top 8 and top 16 seeds, is that you just can't lay a turd tomorrow, Wednesday, and then on Thursday against Wake, tomorrow, Wednesday against Pitt. You really want to try to at least make the semifinals. And if you do that, I feel like Carolina is in great shape to hold their ground. I don't even feel like you have to win the championship or make the championship, because again, the most games you can lose the rest of the way here is 2, and that would be losing to both Pitt and Wake. But the ACC is so loaded that it's like you're just losing to great teams, and so you feel good about that. But don't poop the bed. Let's get to the semifinals, and then I feel good about Carolina being a top 8 seed. And by the way, in case you're wondering, Selection Monday is next Monday, so we're less than a week away from that. All right, great news. With the regular season wrapped up, awards started to roll out on Monday, and Carolina racked up in terms of ACC stuff. But before we even get to that, Vance Honeycutt has been named one of the 25 semifinalists for the 2024 Golden Spikes Award. That's like baseball's Heisman, basically. And so great news for Vance, expected if we're being honest, but you want to see how far he can get in that. All right, ACC awards, y'all. Carolina got mad love in these things. Scott Forbes, ACC Coach of the Year. I saw some banter on Monday morning about like, it's got to be NC State's coach and a couple others in the mix. Nah, Scott Forbes is the man and he gets it. Vance Honeycutt does not win ACC Player of the Year, but he does for the second time win ACC Defensive Player of the Year. From the Diamond Heels Twitter account, Honeycutt has 12.07 defensive runs saved this year. That's the highest of any player in the ACC and the highest of every Division I outfielder there is. Y'all, do you realize how insane that is? Crazy stuff from Vance. You love to see it. And obviously a well-awarded award. ACC first team. Carolina had two guys on that. Obviously Vance Honeycutt along with Casey Cook. So 2/3 of the Tar Heels outfield is on the first team All ACC. Second team, Carolina has 3 on this one. Parks Harbor. Man, what an addition he's been. Shea Sprague and then Jason DeCaro, excuse me. So 2 of Carolina's starting pitchers make the second team. And then on the third team, Dalton Pence and Matty Mathias, both coming out of the bullpen. And then Luke Stevenson, freshman catcher, landing on third team as well. Great stuff there. All-freshman team, Carolina has 3 guys on the all-freshman team. DeCaro lands on that along with Gavin Gallagher, the third baseman, and then Luke Stevenson, the catcher. So, in fact, Carolina was the only team to land 3 on the All-ACC freshman team. Virginia and Duke each had 2, but nobody else had multiple players. So, great stuff for the Tar Heels there. In fact, Carolina had multiple players on all 3 teams. You just heard me say that. First, second, third, and all-freshman team. Multiple Tar Heels on every one of them. UVA was the only other school to do the same. In fact, the 11 combined players that Carolina had, 2 on the first team and 3 each on second, third, and all freshmen, that 11 player total was the most that Carolina has ever had in program history on those 4 lists. And by the way, if you total up first, second, and third team, Carolina has 8. Nobody else touched that. Virginia had 7, Duke 6, Florida State 5, and on down from there. And so really, really good stuff from the Tar Heels. You just get worried, like, are they going to be rewarded? Because ACC teams have been ranked ahead of them all season long, other stuff like that. Carolina's finally starting to get this recognition, finally starting to show up where they need to in the rankings, in hosting probabilities, and in these ACC awards. So well done, ACC, for recognizing great work from the Tar Heels. All right, guys, it's been a great Tuesday show. I apologize for no Trivia Tuesday, but there was all of that coming. Like, I was just trying to get together all of that high school recruiting information, and so just wanted to spend time making that happen, as well as all this great baseball news. And so just love to see the Tar Heels making good moves. So we'll get back to Trivia Tuesday coming up. No worries, I haven't forgotten, I promise. Also, multiple people mentioned the new show music. It's a licensing thing where our previous show music was no longer licensed under whatever agreements Locked On has. So I had to choose new show music. They gave me a catalog, and I found this music that you're probably hearing under the show right now. I put it in post-editing, so I'm not pressing play in real time. So I hope you enjoy it. A couple people said they missed the old music. Guess what? Me too. I loved that music. I thought it was awesome, and it was so fun. So hopefully you learn to love the new music as well. It's growing on me. I picked it, so I hope it's growing on me. Anyway, we'll be back together on Wednesday's show. If you haven't already subscribed to the show on video and audio, make sure you do that so you catch us all the time. Great stuff happening there. If you're not part of the Locked On Tar Heels Discord community, you're really missing out. Come for the Tar Heels, stay for the community. That's what it's all about. And it's free. The link to that is in the show notes. We'd love to have you. It's always a great day to be a Tar Heel. We'll talk again tomorrow, but until then, peace.